Good morning. Good morning. I'm Safura Safavi Long, President of Gratis Technologies, producers of AutoWall, SPOL, and Digital Solutions for Service Drive. Thank you for joining the workshop of Digitalization of the Service Drive. So before we start this, I just wanted to ask you guys a question. How many of you remember the mid to late 1990s when the CRM burst into the automotive world? I promise I won't ask you to stand up or anything. There you go. There's a lot of you, right? Do you remember how many calls you got from all the CRM vendors? I was one of them, so I'm not throwing stones at anybody. And how everybody was touting how their system was outstanding. Now, the CRM idea is outstanding, and a great deal of those systems were outstanding and are still outstanding. But there was a lot of them. And how did you decide which one was the best for your dealership, and how many times did you go through the cycle of CRM till finally one hit your dealership? Welcome to the era of digitalization of Service Drive. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time that you're probably going through the same kind of an environment. There's lots of us vendors with the digitalization of Service Drive in mind. We call you 900 times a day and wear you out, and you're wondering, how in the world am I going to decide what's going to work in my dealership? How am I going to decide what is going to be cost effective for my dealership? Well, I'm hoping that by the time you walk out of this workshop, hopefully you have a handle on that. So that's what this workshop is about. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, automobile business is about people. More than anything else, in most of this country, automobile business is about people solving people's problems. Problems that can be quite disruptive to the life of the owner of the car or whoever it is that's driving that vehicle. In most of this country, having a car is a mandate. It is not a luxury to have a car. Okay, I live on top of a mountain. If my car breaks down, how do I get to grocery store, kids, this and that and the other? And a broken car can be a disaster for a family. I don't know if you have lately heard the percentage that 60% of the population of the United States of America cannot pay for a $500 repair. 63%. That's a pretty daunting thing. And that's a very important thing to keep in mind. A pleased customer is a wonderful thing, and we all love to have it. But also, the same exists that an improperly fixed car can cost you a lot. And you're about to see how it's going to affect you. An improperly fixed car can be a disaster for a service department, ladies and gentlemen. Can be a disaster. So, research is actually on your side. A research has done through a great deal of repairs shows that you guys are doing great, actually. The dissatisfied with service customer stands only at 0.5%. I applaud you. If you guys are service people, congratulations. That's a great thing. 0.5% is a good thing. And I'm very proud of you for that. But there is another way of looking at this. So, don't quite consider yourself the cat's meow yet. Because if you have a service department that generates or works on 75 repair orders per day, that 0.5% per daily is negligible. But in 100 days, that's 38 people. And it's in a year, it's 152 people, ladies and gentlemen. That means a customer every other day is really, really mad at you. And remember that 63%? Most of them are killing themselves to pay that $500 service, which in nowadays is nothing. And so, this can be a major problem. So every other day, you got somebody that is very, very angry at you. And these angry people, you say, well, you know, you can't please everyone. What can I do? Well, you know what? You need to work really, really hard to please these everyones. Because these are the people that can get on social media, they can get on Google, they can write. Have you seen how much they write on a dissatisfied message? It is like writing the history of humankind. That's the one that on Google takes your nice, pretty 4.7 score down to 2 in a matter of minutes. And 152 of them, you know, that is really, really a problem. In today's world, it's child's play to put messages on social media, on Google, on Yelp, on everywhere. Even Dealer Rater, which we pay for. They can get there, and they can really wreck your business. That's what I was talking about when I said it was a disaster. Now that is the idea of digitalization comes into the picture. Digitalization simply means that a small group of people can handle a large database and can get a hold of what these 152 or 300 or whatever they are that are dissatisfied with service are talking about and how you can manage it. So that is the case of what we're talking about when we're talking about digitalization. That's one of the most important aspects of it. And now you say, the digitalization. Well, it is not only about service drive. Digitalizing successfully means digitalizing the whole service department. Okay? And don't say, oh, it's not that bad a thing, actually. So, don't panic. The whole department, you say, what is the cost of this thing? It's going to be astronomical. How can we afford it? Well, that's what this workshop is about. And you will see by the end that actually it's quite affordable. So, we must realize that digitalization of the service department can actually greatly improve your business, can improve the efficiency of your technicians and your service advisors, and actually help you get great results and not only pay for itself, but make your service department even more profitable and raise the number of repairs per day. Because a lot of these digitalization capabilities also enables you to better communicate with customer. Okay? So this is not something that, you know, one of the things that's also very, very important that none of you realize, guys, technicians can sell. And technicians sell very well. And when the technician can communicate, he can sell. Right now, your technicians are sitting back there doing their own little thing. Open their hands. Digitalization also enables technician to sell. And you'll see that in just a minute. So, but just as any major change, this also requires maybe not a great deal of training because a lot of your people are already trained with technology, but a good bit of training. But read the red line. You're all managers. As a manager, please be cognizant of the fact that you need to hold your employees accountable to usage. Okay? That is a big job you have to do. If you're not willing to do that, then don't waste your time, please. Again, digitalization of service drive is not about handing people tablets. It's a lot more than that. So please don't do that. The e-heap of waste in the world is growing. Don't throw some more tablets there. You don't know how many times I hear, well, we did that, we gave them tablets, it didn't work, we threw it out. You know, let's not go there. So, now, as I mentioned earlier, definition of digitalization is not just handing service advisor a tablet. If that's all you have done so far, keep your tablets, but you have to go a lot further than that to be successful. Okay, so before we even start this project, we need to talk about the fact that who are the actors that are involved in this. You've got the OEM, whoever is your franchise company, General Motors, Mercedes-Benz, whatever. You've got your customer to deal with, certainly, and your dealership people. Your dealership people is pretty much everybody in the service department and higher up. Those are your actors involved in this, but the level of importance becomes customer OEM dealership. Now, guys, remember again, going back to the CRM days, that the OEMs, a lot of them came and pushed it down our throat that we have to have certified interface and all that. They are doing the same thing now with digitalization, essentially. But realize that this is not all bad. They really aren't wrong. We needed CRM, and we still need CRM, right? So this is needed. Now, how you choose it and what you do with it after that is your job, okay? And whether it's going to be successful for you or not is what we are discussing here. So, focus must be first put on the customer. What are the needs of the customer, and what is it that they want from us? Okay, so most important is a customer. Most important to customer is what? We did a research with dealership people. Talked to a whole bunch of dealership people from dealer principal all the way down as to what are the most important things, important facets to the customer. They named facility, transparency of information, communication, service done properly the first time, availability of transportation, ability to pay online if the customer wished, and time spent in service drive. Then we went and asked the same people. We said, okay, rank these? Which to you as dealership people are the most important things? First, they said communication. Then service done properly the first time. Time spent in service drive is 3. Transportation, transparency of information, availability of transportation, facility, and ability to pay online. Ladies and gentlemen, one sad thing is we spend all this money on this brick and mortar, and it's landing pretty much on the bottom. So, next, we did the same evaluation of thousands of customers, and this is what the customer says. Service done properly the first time is number 1. Remember the $500 thing? Communicate with me. Communication. Transparency of information. What does transparency of information means? Means that, what's wrong really with my car? Let me see it and understand it. What is the cost of this thing? Ability to pay online moved up to number 3. Customers want to be able to pay online. If they can, if they want to. Time spent in service drive becomes number 5. Again, the facility is number 6. And availability of transportation. So what is the customer telling you here, guys? The customer is telling you, please don't waste my time. Stop wasting my time is number 1. And communicate with me. All of these point toward wasting of time in service drive. So stop wasting my time and communicate with me. So the most important, remember they talk about time is the currency of the millennium. It really is, and that's what your customer is telling you. Okay? So the most important aspect of this digitalization is saving the customer's time, whatever you choose or to do. That should be your number 1 priority. Assure addressing all the issues needed the very first time properly, easy method of communication, and transparency of information. So I hope I am making this understandable, but most importantly, do whatever you can to save my time. And we will see what are those things that save the time. So, customer's time is the most important thing. So let's see what saves the customer's time. Sorry, this is really wordy, but these are OEM requirements. First and foremost, you hand that tablet to the service advisor. The first line says, walk. Get up, get out of your seat, go out there, meet the customer. That's number 1. Walk, get up. Second is, allow appointment, that is shop loading and all of that. What is that saying? Allow the customer to express what the problem is properly the first time through your website, through whatever system that you're using. That appointment setting becomes important. In that appointment setting, whatever kind of system you use, that customer must be able to express what's the problem. Labor opcode presentation and all is great. Realize that most customers can't handle a labor opcode and don't know what it means. So whatever your appointment setting system is that you have chosen, make sure that allows you expression of what's the problem, and that expression is passed on. Just pass it to DMS. What does it mean? Make sure the whole dealership understands what the heck this is about. The right people, the service advisor, the technician, all of those people can understand what the problem is. Then, using the tablet, identify the VIN. What does that mean? To be able to identify the customer, walk out the door, you say, hello, hi, Mr. Brownlee, how are you? You know, I realize it. Most of us have the data, and the VIN should be able to be recognizable. Using the tablet, take photos of the car. This photo taking, the tablet, is very, very important. It's very, very easy. Can be done both by service advisor for accountability for later. The guy comes and says, you put a dent on my door. Or for technician to actually show the customer what's wrong with it. Remember I told you how the technician can sell? Those pictures can really sell. Because they can show the customer the brake pad is really thin. You have a hole in your tire. Whatever it is, physically see it. Okay? Take a photo. Ability to text message if the customer wants your text message. Guys, that does not mean from the guy's own cell phone. That's a dangerous thing. Watch it. Dealership cell phones are not the place of this texting. Make sure whatever system you use has the ability to text directly from the dealership database, and that historical messaging is there for perpetuity, and it enables the customer to have the stop texting ability, especially if you're in the state of California. Okay? Every single text that goes to customer cannot be from somebody's cell phone. Okay? That's a very dangerous thing. And secondly, it has to have ability to stop by the customer. And thirdly, you should be able to refer to it and refer to it for perpetuity. Okay? Whenever you choose a system, ask them, how long are you going to keep this data for me? This texting thing, I got to be able to access it easy. Easy access to historical text. And then vehicle health report, that's just inspection sheet. The technician should be able to bring up that green and red and thing sheet. Remember how they used to draw a line here and draw a line here and hit the customer? Come on, guys. This is the end of that time. Electronic inspection sheet that I can look at it, I can mark it, I can send it to advisor for pricing, I can send it to parts for pricing, and I can send it to customer for review and declining if customer wants to. You do that, actually you sell a lot more. Because now you're making a case for the service that you're doing. Remember, 63% of them can hardly pay $500. Make your case properly. Document. Remember transparency of information? That's what we're talking about. Vehicle health report, your inspection sheet. Have ability to send it to the customer. So, be able to communicate warranty, that's important. And of course, online payment system. Enable your customer to pay online if they want to. That's a simple thing and should and can easily be done. So I apologize for all the wordiness, but get up, walk, let customer express, make your case properly with the customer, and you will definitely sell through a system like that. Okay? So, now, time savers. All of that one we were talking about, what is a time saver? Well, get up and walk. Allow initiate tablet. Remember, you are going to go out there and not waste customers' time. You're going to go talk to them and take that VIN and recognize the customer. You know, with your tablet, you can read that VIN, recognize the customer. Texting ability, online payment system, and if they have requested transportation, for heaven's sakes, have the thing available. Remember, they're going to work, they're doing whatever they can't sit around and wait. Okay? Time savers out of that list that you saw are these 5 items. Now, next is perform the service right the first time. So what all helps us perform the service right the first time? Number 1 is let the customer tell you what the problem is easily, properly, And that information needs to be transferred to people that need to know. Service advisor, technician, whoever else needs to know, okay? Allow the customer, the shop loading things, all it is, you know what I'm talking about. So it means that allow the customer to enable you, and shop loading means allocates enough time for this service. That's another important thing. Whatever system you're choosing has to have in the background, allow the customer on the front to express it, in the background match this expression to your labor opcodes and hours that's going to take, so that you don't overpromise and underdeliver. You don't overpromise that this car is going to be here ready by 6 o'clock, and it's the next 5:30, you haven't even started working on it. Okay? So the shop loading also has that effect. Not only allows the customer to communicate, but allocates the right number of hours to it. Now, taking photos of the customer's car, again, we have talked about that, both on the part of the technician and on the part of accountability. May I go ahead and fix this door for you? No, 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 I'm okay with the door. That dent was there before. Okay, I'm going to take a quick picture here. That should go in some kind of a customer profile that's accessible later on, okay? Along with the inspection sheet, the vehicle health report, the VHR. The VHR used to be, and you guys have used it so far up to now, for future service. I fixed this car, and these are the problems, are red and green, that next time you come, you need to use it. And the customer drops that in the car, gets on the floor, rain and dirt and all, and gets forgotten. But with a system like this, your inspection sheet should be used for this service and for the future service. That is transparency of information and making a case for why you're charging $500 for this service. You guys aren't putting this money in your pocket, but that's the impression the customer gets. Okay? If you go and search Google for how franchisee dealers are ripping customers off in service department, there is so much information that's nauseating. That's not the case. Franchisee dealers aren't ripping anybody out. They're doing the best service possible. 0.5% of their customers are only dissatisfied with them. Make your case. You guys are doing an outstanding job. The reason I'm charging you this much is because these are the problems with your car. Okay? And cold weather is coming. This is going to cause you more problems. I'm going to mark it yellow right now, but you're going to have heat next week, and it's going to be 7 degrees. You know, these are being able to, for future sell things, is extremely important. So this information should be communicated with customer and saved with you somehow with whatever system that you're using. Okay? Next is communicate. Guys, have you ever called your dealership and tried to get a service advisor on the phone who doesn't know it's you calling? Have you tried that? It excruciatingly drives you crazy. You cannot get anybody on your telephone lines anymore. If you think, you might as well just close those PBXs because they're not getting anywhere. And you can never get a service director on the phone. You can never get a service advisor on the phone. I have tested it. A lot of people have tested it. Opening lines of communication, and they don't answer their cell phone either. Okay? Opening the line of communication is somehow allowing that customer to communicate directly to the dealership people. Find you a system that can. Okay? But don't tell me that, well, they can call the dealership and get the service advisor on the phone. The service advisor with his tablet hopefully is in front of the next guy. Okay? So he's not answering the telephone. Assuming that that's where you get those mile-long, ugly reports on the web about you. Open the lines of communication, whether it is post, text, or email. Allow a way for the customer to communicate anytime that they wish with the proper dealership people. Okay. Now, so I want you guys to read this. I hope you can read it, but I'm going to read it for you. I really like this Calvin cartoon. So the mama or whoever she is says, you have a question, Calvin? He says, yes. What assurance do I have that this education is absolutely preparing me for the 21st century? Am I getting the skills I'll need to effectively compete in a tough global economy? I want a high-paying job when I get out. Get out of here. I want opportunity. In that case, young man, I suggest you start working harder. What you get out of school depends on what you put in it. So what's his answer? Don't forget about it. Are you willing to put the effort into this? Because it's an outstanding result. And ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to do it. It's not your choice. It's a consumer choice. A lot of dealerships are already doing it and are doing a great job. If you start now, you'll be ahead of the race. You want to wait 5, 6, 7 years? You're going to have to do it. You'll be behind the race. Okay? So really, it is not a choice. It's a matter of mandate that the consumer is asking you. The customer on the top of the list does that. So I hope that you won't forget about it and you'll give it the attention it needs. All right, so digitalization is about change. It means that you got to do your work a little bit differently. You got to get up and move. You are the requirements that are different. And as managers, you're going to have to require these people to adhere to these until it becomes second nature for them. Remember, like the days of CRM. They wouldn't use it, but now they use it, and it becomes part of their daily usage. So, now, please, let's not make it into an exercise machine that carries clothes more than anything else. So, now, how are you running the dealership? What kind of a personality you have? What kind of personalities are you talking about? Remember, the third aspect of this was the dealership people. Are you democratic, authoritarian? You're a mixture of both? How do your employees respond? So, in case you want to know and you don't know, take the test. This test is free, guys. It's totally free. It's on the web. I took it. Now, I consider myself, I think, really sweet person, easy to understand, but a lot of my employees might not consider that. It brought me anonymous executive, and you know what was written under it? Somebody better clean up this mess and do it soon, which depicts me very, very well. Now, we had a service advisor that has had a lot of success with this kind of systems. Take it, and actually it's a guy, it's not a girl. Came up at anonymous mediator. Anonymous mediator is somebody that takes a project bull by the horn, is accepting of it, does a good job with it, understands it, and carries it all the way through and doesn't argue a lot about it. This test is available to you on the web, free of charge. The URL is 16personalities.com. Anytime you want. Now, okay, it gives you a somewhat of an idea. It's not going to solve the whole problem. It gives you somewhat an idea. Now, what am I saying here? Am I advocating that if your service advisor is not the mediator, that you fire all of them? Absolutely not. You're running a hell of a service department. Remember, you have 0.5% dissatisfied with service. Do not do that. That's not what we're advocating here. What we're advocating here is get to know how to manage them better a little bit with this stuff. You might have the executive character as a service advisor that's doing outstanding. Gung-ho person, does his own thing, very well done, wonderful. You can just train him just as well, but approach him in a different manner so that you have more success. All we're doing here is enabling you to have more success with your system. This is a free test. A lot of your dealerships already have tests that you give. Use your own test. But you want to use a free test. This takes 12 minutes to take this test, by the way. You can do it yourself anytime you want on the web, and it's totally free of charge. Okay? Now, so you say, what's the fuss? You know, I have fantastic people, and you already do, that can do this job. Well, here is your roadblocks. A physical change of getting out of the chair and moving out. Your service advisors usually sit in the office, customers come in. Pull up the car, customers come in. Physical change. Now you're handing them the tablet. They have chubby paws, you know, they got to push those buttons on the little tablet. Interface is much smaller than a keyboard. Secondly is work with a lot more information. Remember, they used to draw the line through the inspection sheet. They can't do that anymore. They got to blip each button. learn a total new technology, and lastly, learn to adhere to the requirements of technology. You know why a lot of people have dumped those tablets in the trash? You're looking at it. Face it, understand that that's what you're facing. It's a new technology you're teaching your people, new interface, physical change of life. Get up, go, walk around. Technician, first time you hand them the tablet, they say, what's this thing you gave me? Then they go, oh, heck, yeah, this is nice, I can do it. Yeah, sure, why not? You know. So you have to change your roadblocks. Now, we have talked about requirements of customer. We have talked about requirements of employee. That big, huge sheet we showed you was requirements of OEM. Now, what is the budget? This is the scary part, I'm sure, for most all of you. What is the budget on this? So, the budget is, we're talking about is, budget is a matter of not necessarily. The budget is not necessarily the quality equals price at all. So be careful about that. You have some vendors that have huge overhead. And you know what? That gets transferred to you. So be really careful about that. Usually, it's not your responsibility to pay that, and be cognizant of big overhead, big companies, and stuff like that. Watch your pricing. Secondly, I am sorry to show you this slide. I really am, because it upsets me greatly. DMS companies, some of them, have raised their prices greatly because they're highly hostile to anything but their own system of certified interface. Okay? There are some big companies that provide that data. Authenticom is one of them. That's, I guess, considered a hostile interface. But these huge raises of price for services that have not changed at all on these interfaces that they provide is going to get transferred, guess to whom? You're looking at it, you. Look in the mirror, you're going to be paying it. These DMS companies really have not changed their services whatsoever. But they send you these letters that everybody is hostile, and realize that you own the brick and mortar at your dealership, right? This data belongs to you and nobody else. Nobody else. The data of the customer information, all this that you're talking about belongs to that dealership and no one else. And it is your decision whether you want to stand up and not fall for that. Okay. Stop the bullying, speak up. Because you guys are the powerful people that hold the purse strings. All right? None of these systems, all of these systems have to do with, they have to have DMS interface in order to succeed and do all that I'm talking about. And you're going to have to pay for it as far as budget is concerned. Now remember the important aspects of this. Save time, 3 little simple things of all of that we talked about. Save time, fix it right the first time, communicate. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit more complex. What is, they direct, all of that stuff directs to these 8 things. Texting, online payment system, online appointment setting system, online appointment management system. Remember, it has to have the hour, labor opcodes, and all that with hours. Technician inspection communication system, parts communication system, customer communication made easy, and general tracking of all of this. All of this requires DMS interface, gentlemen and ladies, and that price of that has gone up greatly. Lately has gone up greatly with 2 primary DMSs, and that's a problem that all of us are facing. So, now your requirement list, ladies and gentlemen. The plan is to come up with the requirement list. Just like anything else you are buying, you need to have a requirement list. All right, here are the requirement lists. Time savers. Make an Excel sheet before you meet your vendors and talk to them. Make an Excel sheet Feature time saver. Vendor has it. Now, don't hand your Excel sheet to somebody and say, go market. Okay? Handex, by the way, I can give this to anybody that wants. You don't have to take a picture. But because it's just an Excel sheet. Yes, no, vendor, upfront fee, monthly fee. Again, time savers are appointment setting, appointment push, appointment management, shop loading, uses labor opcodes, labor opcode to have time, assignment, appointment retrieval, online payment system, payment PayPal or whoever, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are the time savers. But every one of these, now one other thing you need to do, when you ask a vendor to present to you, please ask them to one by one show you these. Not just say, yes, we got it, we got it. Some of them, they might have it. I'm not indicating that they're lying. But it might be difficult for your people to retrieve it more than they are. So vehicle health report, that inspection sheet, fix it first time. Technician interface. Multi-recipient. What that means is that multi-recipient means technician marks it, service at parts prices it, service advisor prices labor, you send it to customer with the labor total amount, dollar amount on the bottom, with taxes and everything calculated. Data is kept for how long? Data saved including the vehicle health report. Appointment to VHR relations. Is VHR only used for future services? And VHR as a present tool of communication. Ask them those things. Now, you might ultimately decide you don't want to do some of these things. But it tells you which vendor has it and which vendor doesn't. And that makes your decision making a little bit easier. So that was page 1. This is page 2. Page 3 is the communication aspect. It's a lot shorter. Texting, text broadcast, text notification, email. Where is the data saved? And how long is the data saved for? That's the crux of the matter, ladies and gentlemen. How long is the data saved for? And that texting has opt-out option, and this opt-out option is automatic. If somebody types a stop, your system automatically has to take it out. Not that, oh, well, service advisor gets an email not to ever text this guy. No, 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 no. He's going to forget that. That's a dangerous thing. Whatever system you use, if somebody types a stop, that system has to take the cell number out of there so that they never send another text to them, okay? So that's your feature of communication. That becomes very, very important. Next, hardware. All right. This is very important. I know that buying Apple stuff is really sexy and everybody likes it. I know that OEMs are selling you the iPads and all. But the reality of it is this. Think of it physically. Service advisor walks down the line, okay? Brings up this appointment, marks all his little stuff, and now car number 3 has a big service, needs to be turned into technician to work on. What's he got to do? If he has an iPad in hand, he cannot access the interface of your dealer management system because 99% of them require what? Explorer. He is trying to see if warranty applies to this. He's trying to get on GM.com, MBUSA.com, Ford.com. All of those, because of their securities, require Explorer. Guess what? iPad can't do it. So this blessed soul, now that we dragged him all the way out, has to run back in the office and get on his laptop and do all of that, or run back out again. So what do? You hand them a cheaper tablet. The Windows tablets are cheaper, they cost less, and run on Explorer. That's your solution. And ask your vendor, whoever you choose, can I buy my own tablets? Because all it is a method of accessing a web-based product, right? Can I buy my own tablets? Some of you have huge dealerships. I mean, you need 20 tablets or so, 30 tablets or so for a service department. Ask him. That's one of the things to add to that list, which I forgot actually. Can I buy my own tablets? Okay? Thirdly, Your technicians will all say, can you buy me a cover for the tablet? Let me tell you another piece of experience. The covers, best covers come for the most expensive tablets there are. If you want a good cover, you got to buy a tablet at $1,200 or more. There is a tablet that you can drive a car over it. $2,500 a piece is military grade. Okay? So consider your numbers. If my technician, make sure it has a handheld in the back. Make sure you have a handheld. You don't have to hold it on the side. But realize that if the guy drops or steps on or whatever, remember there's no data saved in the tablet. It's just a method of communication. So if the guy breaks it, so give him another one. $200 tablet is a lot cheaper than $2,500 one. Okay? And make sure your tablets are, of course, properly marked and all that. But consider the fact that throwing the hardware, changing the hardware might be a lot cheaper than buying the very, very expensive tablets. So, and also, you know, Apple iPads versus the Windows tablets. There are myriad of Windows tablets available that have very, very good pricing. And you can buy those probably yourself. Buy them through Best Buy or whatever. Now, your last decision is, can I use this myself? Hand me the tablet, go out there and play with it and all that. Let a company allow you to do that. Does it fit the culture of my dealership ultimately? I mean, if you've done all those tests and all that, surely you understand that. But last but not least, one size does not fit all. Which brings me to the last choice of your vendor. When you're talking to this vendor, be cognizant that choose a vendor that's accessible, reachable, and will help you make changes. If the thing doesn't fit your culture very well, doesn't physically work for your dealership well, ask them prior to that, what is your hourly rate? If I want some, I'm not talking about writing the whole code over again, but if I want small changes to this system, what's your hourly rate? How soon will you deliver? How much training do I get? Can I train people myself? Will you train a trainer for me at my dealership? A lot of you have trainers in your dealership. Train a trainer, reduce your costs that way, okay? Buy your own tablet, but most of all, ask them. Part of the reason all these dealerships have the tablets in the trash can is because whatever they chose did not fit the system. One of the biggest problems are, I don't know if you're Ford or GM or whatever, a lot of these companies, in good intentions, chose systems and brought it and did the one-size-fit-all. Thou must use it in your dealership. And the thous at the dealership just couldn't use it. It didn't fit anything. And also another thing is, each of you have a different DMS, and that affects the results. So talking to your vendor about the fact that, number one, do you have the interface with my DMS? That is a required. You don't want a side-by-side system, whatever that is. It needs to communicate to your DMS to get the best results. Realize that. And with that, I personally applaud you for doing this outstanding job. I know it's not going to be easy, so this clap is for you. Now, does anybody have any questions for me? I would love to hear it, and I would love to respond to it. Any comments, any questions? Yes? Oh, go ahead.
How do you get set up to where you can make payments online? Is there specific vendors for that?
Yes, there are. Lots of them. Yes, there are. Some over here. I can name them, but if you go outside, I can name some for you. Anybody? Yes, sir? You had a question?
Do people really pay online?
Oh, yes. Do people ever pay online? Huge number. I'm sorry? There you go. Yes. Many pay online. The reason is multitude. Sometimes it enables them to pay later. because you're using that. Secondly, if they're using somebody else's credit card, makes life easier for them and you. Because if they come to the dealership with mommy or dad, your husband or wife's credit card, then what's going to happen is you have all this red tape to deal with. But this notification comes to me, you want to pay online, I send it to my hubby, and he pays online, and I come and get the car. So another thing is wasting of time at the end of the day. People are busy, they come in, they don't have to stand behind the cashier line again and stuff like that. Online payment is, catch me out, it's a good thing to do. Yes, and many, many, many customers pay online, believe it or not. Highline customers pay a great deal online, and so do all of them, average. Any other comments or questions? Thank you. I'm glad that you came, and if you want to meet me, I'm in booth 1030. Have a great day.